Amid the political crisis in Rajasthan, the Gehlot camp will continue their protest against the governor, demanding an assembly session. Governor Kalraj Mishra hit back at Gehlot, saying how can he ensure law and order in the state when he, as a governor, wasn't feeling safe. He also asked Gehlot to justify the need for an urgent assembly session. Rahul Gandhi too claimed a BJP conspiracy and asked the governor to call an assembly session. Pilot meanwhile says that he can't be accused of being anti-Congress as he hasn't spoken against the party. Now on Friday, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot launched his protest saying that the governor is acting under pressure from the top.
हमारे संवैधानिक मुखिया है राज्यपाल महोदय, हमने जाके रिक्वेस्ट करी है। मुझे कहते हैं संकोच नहीं है कि बिना ऊपर के दबाव के वो इस फैसले को रोक नहीं सकते थे, क्योंकि कैबिनेट का फैसला में बाउंड होते हैं। राज्यपाल महोदय, लोगों में बहुत आक्रोश भी है कि इतने दिन से कोई होटलों में बैठे हुए हैं, कोई हमारे साथी गए हुए वहाँ पर हरियाणा के अंदर बंधक बनाए हुए हैं। हमने तमाम विधायकगणों को कहा है कि हमें गांधी जी के बताए हुए रास्ते पर, महात्मा गांधी के बताए हुए रास्ते पर चलना है।
We're joined by Pallavi Ghosh, who tracks the Congress. Pallavi, almost 2 weeks back, he claimed the support of 109 MLAs. On Friday, it was 102 MLAs. Could this protest in Rajasthan be a sign of desperation from the Gehlot camp?
A bit, I won't use the word desperation, but I think at this point of time, he's using all the cards possible to try and checkmate Sachin Pilot and the BJP, but more of Pilot actually, because the big case is coming up in the Supreme Court on Monday, though the verdict may not come up early on Monday itself. But what Ashok Gehlot and the Congress party is trying to do is to have a plan B ready. If the verdict, of course, goes in favor of Pilot, and that's something which the Congress party is very apprehensive of, they really want to kind of upstage Pilot and his supporters and the BJP by going ahead and preempting it. And how do they do it? They do it politically by calling a flow test. When I did speak to my Congress sources asking them why this siege at the Raj Bhawan, they said we fear that the BJP may try to poach some of the MLAs who are with Ashok Gehlot, which is why they're being guarded in the hotels. But still, there's no guarantee that they would not be poached. And therefore, we want to go in for a flow test so that for once and for all, we can make it clear that this government is absolutely enjoying the majority or the confidence of the House. And therefore, no constitutional crisis can be declared by the governor or the BJP or even Pilot and his supporters.
Pallavi, also with Gehlot training his guns at the governor and the BJP now, has Pilot been reduced to just a pawn in a larger political fight?
Well, he wouldn't want to see it as like that, but that's exactly what the Congress is saying, that this entire game plan has been orchestrated by Pilot, but not alone, the BJP behind it. And there have been several instances which they have cited. I mean, the fact that the governor is not allowing an assembly session, the choice of lawyers by Sachin Pilot, the second caveat which he is filing the Supreme Court, and the fact that he's staying in a resort which is in Haryana. Haryana police is guarding him. Each time the Rajasthan police wants to go there, the Haryana police stonewalls them. So this is evidence enough, according to the Congress party, that Pilot is playing along with the BJP, and that's why any effort which was being made now to reach out to Pilot, that has been given up.
Now, the BJP has also trained its guns at the Gehlot government, saying that protesting against the governor is similar to protesting against the constitution. Listen in to Gulab Chand Kataria.
जिस प्रकार से संख्या बल के आधार पर राजभवन में जाकर जो धरना देने का जो काम किया, मैं सोचता हूं इससे घटिया काम कोई मुख्यमंत्री नहीं कर सकता। जो लोकतांत्रिक पोस्ट की हिफाजत कौन करेगा? इसलिए मैं तुरंत केंद्र सरकार से भी आग्रहपूर्वक कहता हूं कि इस समय की स्थिति को देखते हुए आपको राजस्थान की पुलिस के भरोसे लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को न छोड़कर सीआरपीएफ को निश्चित रूप से यहाँ पोस्ट करना चाहिए, जिसके कारण से कम इस गरिमामय पद का सम्मान बना रहे।
We'll continue to track the political developments in Rajasthan as they develop. Now, at the 17th meeting of the WMCC panel to resolve the border disputes at the LAC, both the nations reviewed the situation and the ongoing disengagement process. Speaking to CNN News 18's Shreya Dhondiyal, GOC in chief of the Northern Command, Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi, said that after 4 hours of talks, disengagement is gaining momentum, adding that the army will not compromise on securing the borders and will continue to restore the status quo.
So 21 years after Kargil, India is facing yet another challenge at its borders. Could you tell the country, what is the situation on the ground right now?
Well, Shreya, it's a predicament that we have two live borders. That notwithstanding, the Indian Army has acquitted itself with distinction, defending the territorial integrity of the nation and maintaining the sanctity of its borders. Along the northern borders, we are presently engaged with the PLA in a military dialogue to resolve the situation. A process of disengagement has been initiated after 4 rounds of talks at the Corps Commander level, and the same is happening on the ground, and also being verified by commanders on the ground to ensure its veracity and correctness. It's a complex and integrated process which needs diligent execution. Once we have been able to achieve the complete disengagement, we would transcend to de-escalation, which would obviously be guided by the principle of mutual and equal security. The Indian Armed Forces would take all measures to ensure the security of the line of actual control.
So the RM has made a realistic assessment of the process of disengagement when he was in Ladakh, that there is no guarantee to what extent talks will help. What is your assessment as far as the talks and the process of disengagement is concerned?
Well, Shreya, there's a method to every process. And our ongoing military engagement with the PLA in an effort to diffuse the situation is no different. There is a certain commitment required from the two sides, which is essential for the process to move ahead positively and deliver the outcomes that are desirable. There are certain factors, though, such as the territorial integrity of the country, that are not negotiable at all, and hence there is no question of compromising these. While we are investing sincerely in this ongoing endeavor to bring about peace along the borders, we also remain prepared at all times for any eventuality.
So how long will the standoff in eastern Ladakh continue in your estimation? Do you see this stretching through the winter?
This is a hypothetical question, I would say, which would lead me to make conjectures. What I can tell you in simple words is that we shall continue all efforts to restore the status quo ante along the line of actual control. I believe that negotiations and the process of disengagement and the commitment of both sides to adhere to the laid down methodology would dictate the timelines of the standoff.
As Mumbai fights the coronavirus with the outbreak now appearing somewhat under control, a fresh crisis has hit the maximum city's healthcare sector. Patients claim that private hospitals are overcharging for Medicare expenses while patients are facing inflated bills. Hospitals claim that an uninterrupted flow of funds is critical to their functioning and role in beating the virus. Radhika Ramaswamy brings us this report.
सर मेरा कॉल पेमेंट के लिए रहता है, आप पेमेंट कराओ।
पेमेंट मैडम जरा अभी तक बंदोबस्त हुआ नहीं है, जितना जल्दी हो सके उतना जल्दी कराता हूँ।
कितना टाइम लेंगे सर? हॉस्पिटल को भी दूसरों को पेमेंट करना रहता है, तो फिर हर एक को उधार दे दे के हॉस्पिटल कैसे पेमेंट करेगा दूसरे का? 8 लाख आपका बैलेंस हो गया है।
Sanjay Rathod gets this call regularly from the private hospital his uncle is admitted in. His uncle has been in the hospital for a month after testing positive for COVID-19 and has run up a bill of 15 lakhs.
अभी उन्होंने हमको कोई गाइडलाइन दी नहीं थी बिल की और डे बाय डे उनको इंजेक्शन लगने लगे और अब तक का उनका बिल 15 लाख रुपए का आ गया है।
In May, the state government capped the cost of COVID treatment in private hospitals up to a maximum of 9,000 rupees for an ICU bed with ventilator. It also detailed caps for COVID procedures and surgeries. But some hospitals have added on items like material charges and a staff management charge to the bill. With over 1,000 complaints, the BMC has cracked down and has ordered refunds in several cases. But hospitals say they are forced to do this due to mounting expenses.
During this period, we are facing severe financial losses. Sanitization and all my staff, whether they are working in the COVID area or not, have to be given some kind of protective gear. All this increases my staff salaries tremendously, apart from the fact that we have to give them a 50% extra salary as a COVID allowance.
We understand the government's intention is to help the poor and the needy people, but inadvertently this has helped the people who were able to afford the prices earlier but now are taking advantage of the government rates. So what we are urging the government is to relook at how hospitals can be helped, that many hospitals have taken loans and are under huge debts to meet their monthly expenses. They are not profiteering.
The price caps by the Maharashtra government apply to 80% of the beds. The hospitals are free to price the remaining 20%. The state government, the BMC and the private hospitals are trying to find middle ground. But the patients are still continuing to pay the price. In Mumbai, Radhika Ramaswamy.